How are we doing today, guys? As any of you that come into the store have noticed, freshwater artificial plants have come a long way. They look very realistic now. They really give your tank some nice pop without the hassle of taking care of live plants. But today we're not talking about freshwater, so let me get rid of these. Today we are talking about artificial coral decorations. The old days, they used to be pretty darn gaudy. They're getting pretty realistic looking now. A lot of folks are worried about putting artificial stuff in a saltwater tank. I was as well when I first saw these a few months ago. So as I do with anything else, before I sell stuff to you guys, I buy a bunch of them, I take them home, and I test them out in my own tanks. We also put a few in the tanks here. They're going on about 2 months here as well. We have seen no adverse effects to the water parameters in the aquariums, and there's no degrading of the decorations. So far, so good. I think it's passed well enough that I can start recommending these things to some of you folks. Now, who would want to be interested in these? First off, the fish only people. A lot of us get sick of looking at our fish only tank. It's just a big pile of rocks, and the fish are interesting, but after a while, we all end up setting up reef tanks, and we spend all our time working on our reef tanks and feed our fish only tank and don't pay that much attention to it. Since I started putting these decorations in my fish only system, my poor reef tank's getting neglected now because the fish only tank looks so much better. There's so many different color varieties of these. If you like this shape, it comes in 4 different color varieties. You can spread them around. It makes the fish's colors pop more because there's other colors in there. You think you'd have the adverse effect of that, but in fact, your fish's colors pop more with other colors in the tank besides the gray, green of the live rock. A lot of fish only folks will use coral inserts. There's a couple of downsides to the actual coral inserts. Sometimes it's overkill. There's too much artificial. The entire tank looks artificial because there's these enormous coral inserts in there. Second part of using this artificial stuff, it needs to be cleaned. Even a relatively small coral insert weighs 25 to 30 pounds. A small one would be a foot by 18 inches. You go pulling something a foot by 18 inches out of your aquarium, you are getting water all over the place. You can clean them in the tank, but you're usually cleaning things like this with a toothbrush or something, and cleaning something that large with a toothbrush is going to take you a few hours. I really like these because you have your live rock structure in there, and just like with a reef tank, you place them in there and you have the live rock and then you have the artificial corals, and it looks more realistic. The cool part of these is they're small. They grow algae, yes. You have to clean them, yes. I've found about every 2 weeks, you take 1 or 2 out, clean it, and you get on a rotation. I have an absurd amount in my tank, so if you have a smaller tank, say a 30 gallon, 40, 50 gallon tank, you could take all of them out the same day and clean them. It's only gonna take you about 45 minutes, if that, probably more like 20 minutes. You just take them out, bring them over to the sink with a toothbrush, brush them off real quick, rinse them, boom, right back in the tank. They look brand new again. We've gone over the fish only people. Now, if you have just set up a tank and you're thinking about doing corals, these are also great for you in the beginning because in the beginning, you don't really want to jump into putting corals right in your tank in the beginning and you get tired of looking at an empty tank. Also, if you don't have the discipline to pull this out once a week and clean it and put it back in all honesty, you're probably not prepared for what it's going to take to keep real corals alive anyway. So it's a good test before you go out buying a bunch of corals to see if this is really the route you want to go or not. I'm going to have Danny run to my house after he leaves here today and take a video of my tank so you guys can see what these actually look like in a fish tank environment. I think you'll be pretty impressed with them. We're gonna start carrying more and more of them to the store. Some of them actually, like this one, it actually glows. When your blues come on, it glows just like a legit coral does. A lot of these don't, but some of them do. It's just a really nice diversity, and like I said, we're gonna try to start carrying a larger variety of these for you guys. Hope you have a good day.